Have you ever noticed something a little strange about middle-class life? Two people can earn almost the same salary, live in the same city, work very similar jobs, and yet, over time, something interesting happens. One of them slowly builds wealth. The other one? They constantly feel like they're just trying to keep up. Their bank account never really grows, not because they earn less, not because they work less, but because of something much more subtle. Something most people don't even notice: status spending. And the strange part is, most people are doing it without realizing it. Let's walk through a very normal situation. Imagine a 28-year-old professional in the United States, or Western Europe. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel earns about $75,000 a year. On paper, that sounds pretty comfortable. But once federal taxes, state taxes, social contributions, and healthcare deductions are taken out, his actual take-home pay is closer to about $4,200 per month. Now let's see where that money goes. Daniel rents a decent apartment in a safe neighborhood. That costs about $1,700 per month. His car payment? $520. Insurance and gas add another $250. Student loan payments take around $300. Groceries, utilities, phone bills, and a few subscriptions add another $900. So before Daniel even thinks about saving or investing, he's already spending about $3,670 every month. That leaves roughly $530. Now on paper, that sounds manageable, but real life doesn't follow perfect budgets. A few dinners out with coworkers, a short weekend trip, upgrading to the newest phone, a couple of late-night online purchases, and by the end of the month, that remaining money quietly disappears. Daniel isn't reckless. He pays his bills on time, he works hard, he's following the path most people were told is the responsible one. And yet, somehow, the savings account barely moves. The problem here isn't laziness, and it isn't bad intentions. It's something deeper. Modern middle-class life is quietly built around appearance. In many developed countries, people are encouraged to look financially successful long before they actually are. A nicer apartment signals stability. A new car signals progress. Certain restaurants, clothes, or vacations signal that you're doing well. Now, none of these choices are irrational on their own, but together they create a powerful pressure. Because humans rarely measure success in isolation. We measure it by comparing ourselves to the people around us. If coworkers start driving new SUVs, your perfectly reliable car suddenly feels outdated. If friends move into luxury apartments, your affordable studio starts to feel temporary. So people upgrade, not because their finances dramatically improved, but because their reference point moved. Now here's the part most people never stop to calculate. Daniel's $520 monthly car payment. Over 5 years, that adds up to about $31,200. Add insurance and fuel, and the real cost gets closer to $45,000. Now imagine a slightly different decision. Instead of financing a brand new car, Daniel buys a reliable used car for $15,000 and drives it for several years. The difference between those two choices? Roughly $30,000. But the real difference appears when time gets involved. If that extra $520 per month were invested into a simple index fund, earning around 7% annually, after 20 years, it could grow to roughly $270,000. No secret strategies, no complicated financial tricks, just time and compounding. The challenge is, most people never see this trade-off clearly, because the upgrade feels real today, while the investment result feels distant and abstract. This is where psychology quietly steps in. Human brains naturally prefer visible rewards. A nicer car provides instant feedback. People notice it. You feel the upgrade every time you drive. But investments? They're quiet. They sit inside an account most people rarely check. There's no social recognition attached to them. No one compliments you for having a diversified portfolio. So the brain naturally gravitates toward the option that provides emotional satisfaction today, even if it quietly weakens tomorrow. Over time, this pattern creates what economists sometimes call the middle-class treadmill. Income increases, but lifestyle increases just as quickly. A promotion leads to a bigger apartment. A raise justifies a newer car. A bonus funds a more expensive vacation. Slowly, the structure of your life expands to absorb every increase. From the outside, it looks like progress, but when you actually look at the numbers, very little has changed. Assets grow slowly, expenses grow quickly, and decades later, many people realize they earned good money for most of their lives, yet financial pressure never fully disappeared. Interestingly, people who eventually build wealth don't always earn dramatically more. What they often do differently is how they think about status. They understand that many middle-class purchases are signals, not necessities, and signals can be very expensive. So instead of asking, "Can I afford this monthly payment?" they quietly ask a different question. What future freedom am I trading for this? Because every recurring expense competes with something invisible: time, flexibility, and financial independence later in life. The middle-class trap isn't about greed, and it isn't about irresponsibility. It's usually just the result of small decisions, repeating quietly over many years. Most people don't make one huge financial mistake. They simply follow the normal path without questioning the cost of maintaining the appearance of success. And once you start noticing that pattern, something shifts. You stop measuring wealth by what people can see and start measuring it by the options it quietly gives you. If you enjoy calm, realistic conversations about money like this, consider subscribing for more. Wrapping up the story, the middle-class trap is about awareness, not blame. The key takeaway: notice where your money goes and what it truly buys. And that's how small choices over time quietly shape financial freedom.